I encourage everyone to take a moment and breathe and take a tea cheers with a Jiri tea. A Jiri tea recognizes the beauty in shared stories and shared opportunities. Ajiri sources award-winning tea from Kenya, employs women in the region to handcraft the labels, and sends 100% of the profits back to the region to support orphan education. Save 10% on your order of Kenyan teas and coffee with the code BeautifullyHuman at ajiritea.com. AJIRIT.com. Tea mugs up. Hello, and welcome to the Beautifully Human podcast. I'm Nick Sheesby. In this podcast, I speak with beautiful humans from all around the world, sharing with you their incredible stories, revealing the power in every human story, to spread love and humanity to a world that is in desperate need of it, to show that we can all connect in beautiful ways no matter where we come from or what we look like. What you will find out is that we are all beautifully human. Let's all be beautifully human.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, man?
Nice to meet you, man. What's your name?
I'm Nick.
I'm Josh. Nice to meet you.
Josh, pleasure to meet you too, brother. Thanks for reaching out to me.
No problem. The podcast seemed interesting enough, and
Yeah, man.
I'd love to make an episode with you guys.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I was just listening through your stuff, and I was like, oh, it's pretty dead on to what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty simplistic and just telling people stories and talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah, I love that, dude. So what inspired you to do that? What was your what was your inspiration?
Well, so I started on like TikTok and stuff, and I was trying to motivate and inspire people on there, but I feel like I had more to say than like in between 15 and 30 seconds. Like I
Sure.
can't get all of it out.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, make a podcast and talk for longer.
That's super awesome, man. Yeah, I haven't jumped on the TikTok game yet, but I can understand not being able to say everything you want to say in 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, because I got a lot of thoughts, and I want to just get as much out into the world as possible. So
Yeah,
through
man.
a podcast, it's better that way.
Totally. I love that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do too, man. Just spread the love and break down these stigmas that are out there in the world that I think.
100%.
So where are you located at?
I'm located in Illinois.
Right on. Like, I
What
mean,
about you?
I'm in Nashville, in Tennessee.
Nashville. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, there was the fire or the explosion, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. A lot of people I knew woke up hearing it and just like, I don't know, it was strange too because we didn't lose cell phone service for like 4 hours after it happened. So it was kind of like wake up, do my normal stuff, and then all of a sudden no service. So it was kind of a fitting Christmas 2020 of no cell phone, no internet, just back to like, what the hell's a DVD? All right, I'm gonna play this thing because we're so reliant on technology now. It was funny to go back to not having any of that. So
nice.
yeah, but
Sounds a nice way to unplug.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's a shame that it happened in such a shitty way, but So yeah, man, like I really like how you're talking about connection. So, and I just figured out when I was listening to your podcast, you're 16.
Yeah.
That's super awesome. I'm 35, so I got a couple
Wow.
years on you. But what's cool is like I actually got a new excitement for chatting today because I don't get a chance to talk to the youth of our our next generation of kids very
100%.
often. So like for me, that's not really my target demographic is your age group. So I'm super excited to let my listeners hear from someone who's far younger than most of the people listening to what I to my podcast. So that's super rad. So I have a question for you. So like as a 16-year-old in this country, what gives you hope?
Gives me hope. For me, like as I look around and I look around what other people are doing, it's sad to see that a lot of them are kind of losing themselves in like the whole social media technology polarization aspect of that. And
Yeah.
then there's like if I think about me, it makes like what I'm doing makes me think that if I'm doing something good, other people are gonna want to follow it. And like if I can get enough people to support what I do, then I think the world would be a better place.
Yeah, dude. I love that. And I love, it's cool because I stumbled upon this concept a long time ago, probably, similar to when we're your age. And, I grew up in a Midwestern town in Ohio. And so, like, I just never understood why people were so against other people for no reason, or they came up with a reason, but it just never made sense to me. So I fully get the, like, I want to spread this around and make sure people think differently. And
Yeah,
I was listening to your trailer and how you were talking about it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what color you are. We're just people, man. And that's totally my message of just who who cares, man. Like, here's some other stories. Here's people around the world that breathe and eat and think just like we all do. It might be a different thought, it might be a different thought process, but we're all very similar.
yeah. And like the whole idea behind my podcast, since obviously it's called Socially Active, it's like how do you talk to all different types of people from all different walks of life, teenagers, older people, different, what people have gone through. And it's very interesting to hear how everyone deals with their issues or has ideas for certain things. Then you might not have heard that from someone else. And that's what interests me is other people and their stories and like how they think. Because I'm a very I like to observe people.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, oh, they're doing that. Why are they doing that? How does that work? And so even if I'm not like agreeing with what they're saying, I can learn something from them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we don't learn something from the people that we interact with, then what are we doing? Or if we're only learning from the people that are very like-minded or the same group that we're in, then we're not progressing any. And I see that
Yeah.
so often with so many people, especially like my hometown, and it's really sad to just see like a bubble that you can get into. And it's like it happens in small towns, but it also happens in big cities. You can be in a big city and just be in your own little bubble, in your own world of Nashville, Tennessee, of New York City, of you know Tokyo, whatever, wherever you are. You can get into your bubble and only hear those like-minded stories. And
Hmm.
especially this year. This year has been so polarizing of people.
Yes.
You know, and it has just been shocking to see how different and like how much people are just in their own little bubble. And it makes me
Yeah.
really sad to see. And I'm like, I've had to like shake people, like almost shake people. I mean, I can't touch people this year because of COVID, but like just wake up, man. Like, there's a lot of people in this world, and it's really beautiful. It's
Yes,
really
100%.
beautiful. Like, why do you think you're better than somebody else? Like, how does that even get into somebody's mind? I'm like, I'm no better than anybody. I have my faults, I have my flaws, I have my struggles, I have my triumphs. I'm just a human that's floating around. So I love that you're on that mission as well of spreading that around.
Yeah, and what I've seen, obviously there was the election this year and there was a lot of just things that turned political. Every side of everything now, you have to pick a side,
Right.
which is horrible. I don't want to have to pick a side. I
Yeah.
want to be able to talk. I want to mediate. I want to be able to understand. I don't want to go out into the streets and start yelling at people. That's not
Right.
that's not how you get change.
No.
That's not how you do that.
I
You
mean,
do something like what we do, where we talk about stuff and
right.
we take deep dives into how other people think about things, and then maybe one day you'll be like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah. And yeah, exactly what you said. Like, I've had people, even I used to work at concert venues in Atlanta, and there would be people out protesting. If it was like a satanic metal show, we'd have people from a church like screaming and yelling at you, and like I'd be at work, and so they'd turn it on me because nobody was out there anymore, and I'd just walk up and I'd say, "You have no idea who I am. Like, I don't care what you believe in, what you think, if someone's screaming at you and saying like this is what you should believe, how often are you flipping over? Like
Yeah.
that's not how I join something is by someone screaming and yelling and saying, "Hey, you're wrong." I've never learned that way. I've never joined in with somebody because they told me what I was doing was horribly wrong and that their way was the right way. That's not how it works
Hmm.
for me. So I don't understand that people come at people that way without any, it's just like, you're wrong. This is it. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. It actually turns me off from listening to you if you're just yelling and screaming your views. Like, I'll listen to you. I'll give you the time of day if you want to talk about it like adults, But if you're
Yeah.
just screaming and yelling trying to get your point across, it doesn't even if I think the exact same thing as you, I'm not I don't have time for that.
Yeah. And when people start yelling and screaming, everyone gets defensive. Everyone puts their guards up.
Right.
There's at that point, there's no point in trying to keep pushing because that's when it gets physical and then feelings get hurt. When it shouldn't even be about that. It should be about like what makes the most sense in this situation
Yeah.
about a certain issue and all that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't work sometimes.
No, it doesn't. Rarely in my lifetime, and I haven't seen everything, so I don't know. But rarely have I seen someone start screaming and yelling, and then like somebody else is just like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'll join. I'll jump in with you." Like typically, it doesn't go well. Yeah, like you put up your guard and you get defensive, like because if you're feeling that aggression, then obviously you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
pushing back on that. But so in your area, how has the reaction been to you and your mission of just sharing people's stories and connecting?
Like the people around me and how I like from listeners and what I've heard from them.
Yeah, just in your life. How's it going? Because I'm imagining that you were pushing this before you even put a podcast out. I'm sure you were you
Yeah.
were you were like trying to connect people and like kick down walls and like bring
Yeah.
people together. I'm sure you were doing that before your podcast. I'm betting it wasn't just like I should do a podcast and then figured that out. I'm sure it was
Yeah.
led up to that.
Yeah, it basically stemmed from like even before. So it all started with like when I started doing the TikTok thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, I was like kind of down and I just like didn't even know what to do with anything. Like COVID had just started and I was just so lost and I didn't know what to do. I had so much time and I would just play Xbox all day, slumming around the house, not doing anything. And then I started investing in myself. Like I got some books. I started watching like motivational videos. I would take notes. I would, write post-its on my wall in the back.
Yeah.
I just do things to kind of things that I could remember, things to better myself and all that. And once I learned that, I was like, okay, now I know how to help myself. How can I help other people through their issues? How do I bring people together? And so then I started making the TikTok videos and then like I said from that I wanted to do even more than that, so it just kept branching out into other things.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. I love that. I love that. I think that's so
Yeah.
neat that like you can soak up so much just by putting yourself out there and figuring out what it is that you want to learn, and especially in a year like this where everything got flipped upside down. I don't care if you're 16 or you're 35, life got flipped completely on its
Hmm.
head this year, and like none of
Yeah.
us knew what it was going to look like. None of us knew what quarantine would look like or what would come out of it. So it's really neat that you were like, nope, I'm not going to stay in this space. I'm going to go out and I'm going to start motivating people. I think that's really
um,
awesome.
yeah, and like with COVID and how it's affected people, like the biggest thing right now for people my age is school. Like
Right.
e-learning is terrible. It's not good.
I was
And
actually that was going to be my next question is, yeah, what does that look like to you? Like just explain that cuz that's
yeah.
so foreign to me obviously. Like I, I went to high school a very long time ago. So what did that look like or tell me about that.
Here, I'll try to make you understand or help you understand this. So imagine, you know how you'd go to school and you'd get lectured for about the whole period. You take your notes, you do your homework. That's kind of it. That's the class. Most classes.
Sure.
They're trying to do that online. Now, here's why it won't work. Because when you're getting a lecture because the class periods are longer, an hour 10, hour 20 minutes, what's the student going to do? Look at TikTok or learn algebra for an hour and 10 minutes?
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't work. The lecturing and the way they're teaching is just not working. But they
Yeah.
keep pushing that. And I actually went to my school board about it because I wanted change to happen with that because it's wrong.
Yeah.
They need to they've done this for a semester. They have to make at least some change.
Sure.
So I went to them and I said, I want you guys to add mandatory participation as part of the curriculum so students and teachers could communicate, they can learn the material, we can have class morale, and we can actually have the best experience we can while we're in this circumstance.
Yeah. How did that go?
And I just found out that they didn't listen to me.
Hmm.
And because here's the thing, there's a lot of privacy issues with the cameras and all that because a lot of
Sure.
students, they don't have the facilities to have their cameras on all the time. They might have things going on in the background. They might have to help their younger siblings with school, and there's a lot of scenarios where you wouldn't be allowed to have your camera on because it's inappropriate and it's not.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. But the schools now announced that it's going to be mandatory to have your cameras on. And when I went to the school, I said mandatory participation, no cameras on. All they need to do is unmute when they have to answer or ask a question.
Sure.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't listen to me.
Oh, man.
But I tried, and I'm going to continue to try because I'm not just going to give up on that because I'm still going to be in e-learning for this next semester, even though they're going to try to bring us back
Yeah.
for a certain amount. But I so doubt that they're going to do that because here in Illinois, they're going to try to keep the kids out of school as long as possible.
Yeah. Man, it's so like as you're talking about that, I'm just thinking like even just of my Zoom calls of just like hanging out with friends. We did a Thursday night like dinner party with friends of ours every Thursday night, and like, yeah, just thinking of having to keep your attention span on learning. Like I'm having like just hanging out with friends, and I'm looking around, and I'm like fiddling with like I can't keep my attention, and that's 2 hours just hanging out with friends where I don't have to, let alone when I have to be learning. It's like investing in my future is what you got. It's high school. It's your valuable lessons that you're learning, and man, I can't even imagine how tough that was. Especially like me as a 16-year-old, wouldn't have worked. There's no way.
Yeah.
I would not have.
For most kids.
I wouldn't have had the attention span for 5 minutes. I wouldn't have had this conversation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I just wouldn't have been able to pay attention. I wouldn't have cared enough.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem right now is that kids don't care enough, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too. Because it's not that the students are submitting the work and it's wrong; it's that they're not submitting it at all.
Yeah.
And I'm at fault for this. Because there's been times where I just didn't submit my work because they have it so, like the rule for my school is that if you can submit the assignment by the end of the unit, and from the time they assign that homework assignment to the end of the unit, that could be a month.
Wow.
So it's like, why would I even do the homework now? I could just do it at the end of the semester or do it at the end of the unit.
Yeah.
And they're taking all the wrong steps. They're trying to improve it, but they got to listen to the students. They sent out a survey to the parents and not to the students about what they thought about e-learning. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, halfway through the semester, they asked the parents. Then at the very end of the semester, each teacher individually asked the students what they thought. But still, what's going on here? Like, why can't you get the input from the students themselves? They're the one in the classroom.
Exactly.
Wow. It blows my mind.
Yeah, that blows my mind too, man. Like it's one of those things where I think in my brain I go to like it's very frustrating, and I'm sure you're frustrated as well of like, sure, I get it. Like the parents also are in a very new learning curve of having to monitor and make sure their kids are learning. I get that that's tough. I see my friends are all doing that. As the parents, I see them doing that, and I get the frustration. But also, the ones that are learning and having to deal with all of it are you all. So
Hmm.
why not? Yeah, take the parents and ask what they think of it. But the biggest part of that is you guys and
Yeah.
gals that are sitting behind the screens having to learn. And as much as you all are adapting to what you are given right now, which is just the way it is, the teachers and like the curriculum in the schools should adapt to make it the best for everybody.
Yeah, they've done it for so long, 150 years or 100 years, 50 years, whatever. They're not going to change now. One semester in,
Right.
who knows? But that's a pessimistic outlook. I'm not going to think about it like that. Hopefully they do make a difference.
I was gonna
Hopefully they
say, I
do
mean,
change.
at least though you're not sitting here saying I haven't done anything. It's just gonna be what it is. You're at least
Yeah.
like vocalizing that. So if nothing changes, at least you stood up and said, I think we could do this better. Coming from the
Yeah.
person who's sitting here doing this day in, day out.
100%. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
my thought process. I'm like, because there is no, every time I go to those school board meetings, it's just a bunch of old guys who don't know what
Yeah.
they're talking about. They're not in the classroom. No teachers or students are there. It's just these guys. I'm like, what do you guys like? What do you guys even do? Like,
Right. Who are you?
talk about taxes. I get it, it's important, but
Sure.
what about the actual classroom?
Yeah.
That's just me.
And that's a great look at it. It speaking to you, my question to you was what gives you hope, right? Me sitting here talking to you and seeing that you're what you're given is what you're given, and you understand that. I think that's pretty impressive for a 16-year-old to be in that position of like, all right, here's what I got. I'll do it. Also, I'm going to raise my voice because I have that voice. I think that's really
Hmm.
impressive. I think that's really amazing. That's like, why should these old dudes sit in this classroom and decide? Because they haven't been in school in forever. Like, why are they making the decisions for you all? So I think that's really
100%.
rad. I find hope in that because if you're standing up for what you want out of your schooling, that shows me that in life you're going to stand up to what you think is wrong out there, and like that gives me hope because you're the future generation that's going to make the change for my generation,
Yeah.
for the generation after mine, like the generations keep passing. And so I think that's super cool of like you're sitting there like, why would I not? I have this voice, I'm going to say what I want to say. And I think that's really
Hmm.
awesome, so I commend you on that. I think that's really awesome.
Thank you so much. And the thing is like a lot of people they get a problem in their life, or something that's going on, and all they do is talk or complain about it.
Yep.
Why? That just speculation leads to frustration. So why don't you just go and do something about it?
Yeah. Use your voice, use that frustration, use all the talking you're doing to people that can't make a difference. Go out and make a difference.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, I mean, that's even like in an election year, that's a super important message to people of like, your voice can be heard. Go, if you believe in something, go say it. Go speak your truth. Tell those people that are on the opposite side, like give them something, not just like anger and frustration, just like give them
Yeah.
something that can propel this momentum, like start a movement. And I think that's so rad. Do you go by yourself or does anyone of your friends come with you to the meetings?
So it's virtual,
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, of course.
and I was the only one there. It was just me. I told my friends that I was gonna do it, but it's not like I could have posted about it and say, hey, I want all you guys to show up to the board meeting. Let's make a point. But I just went and I gave they gave you like 3 minutes to speak, and I did it, and that was that. And I might go back again and try to get it on like the actual agenda so they actually have to talk about it.
Yeah,
But I don't know how much work what I even have to do to get to that point.
sure.
But I'll probably figure it out.
Yeah. So, did you get a good reaction from the board?
Well, here's the thing. When you address the board, they're not allowed to vocally react. Basically, anyone from the town can show up, give their 3 minutes, and the board just nods and reacts and does whatever, and then they go on to the next person. And so, from what I saw, they were nodding and smiling and going, yeah, 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 but who knows?
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
It could have just been courtesy of like,
yeah, we get it. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Come on.
cool. 3 minutes.
Finish up
All
here.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Oh man, that is so crazy. Especially even that's virtual. I mean, of course it is this year, but that's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, anybody that's dealing with it, like those guys, funny enough, they probably haven't used Zoom a ton, or, like they're probably figuring out even how to use these things. So they have to see like this isn't that easy for them. So why not like make it the best? Like these meetings, I'm betting that they aren't going exactly how they plan them to every time.
No,
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
they're always like, all right, all the board members are gonna go into a breakout room and they're gonna talk about some classified information, and then 10 minutes later, some of them are still trying to figure out how to get there. Like,
Right.
the students know how to use the technology.
Yeah.
Learn from them. Like, there's
Right.
so much you can learn from anyone, but the teachers, like, there's like, we're the adults here. We're gonna figure it out. And
Yeah.
okay, you do that. You know.
Man. All right. So beyond school
Yeah.
and all of that, what all like just kind of give me a view into your life pre-COVID, and then like what it changed. Like just kind of like, yeah, give me a rundown of like what it looked like
How? All
normally,
right.
and then
Yeah.
what it changed to.
I got you. So here's the thing. From before COVID to now, there was like a huge transformation in just the type of person I have become. And for me, I made an episode about this, and COVID has not been the worst for me. And I hope more people can say that, but I know it's been a very tough year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for me, it gave me the greatest gift ever, which is time. I had my summer
Yeah.
to go and have spend as much time on whatever I wanted to. School, even though it's bad, it's shorter, so I can spend my mornings in school, and then the afternoon I can make my videos and the podcast and videos for this other company, which we can talk about
Yeah.
later. But there's, I was very much like focused on the wrong things. Like, I was focused about what other people thought of me. I was trying to do the cool things, trying to do that, try to fit in.
Sure.
Why? Why? What's the point?
Yeah.
At some point, you're gonna stand out like a sore thumb. So why not own it?
Yeah.
And so
100%, dude.
yeah. And so when COVID happened and no one could see each other and everyone just kind of was like by themselves, it's like, do you remember that scene from Batman? Like the one with Bane.
Yes.
And like he's in the prison and he's just every day he's working out and he's just
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah.
stronger and stronger. So then eventually he can jump out the hole.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's how I felt. Like every day, but it was a mental game. It
Sure.
was like, I'm gonna read my books. I'm gonna take notes on books. I'm gonna go and buy a bunch of whiteboards so I can write down my ideas. I'm gonna buy a mic, a laptop. I'm gonna invest in editing software. I'm gonna do all this just to better myself so I can do what I want to do, which is help people. And since the only reason I invested in all this other stuff is because I can't do it in person. I want to be on stage in front of people,
Yeah.
talking to them, high schools and all that.
Yeah,
But
man.
I had to learn how to make 15, 30-second content.
Yeah.
So just from my mental fortitude, from learning about how to help myself with like breathing and meditation and breath work and all that stuff, crazy things, just learning how to be the best version of yourself every day.
And dude, everything you just said is everything that I'm working on, and all of my friends here, all around the world, everywhere I talk to, that's what we're working on is meditation, breathing, taking that pace of life back. Because I mean, you know it already. as a 16-year-old. Life is flying by. I'm sure you're sitting
Yeah.
there like, how am I 16 already? You know, like
Mhm.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm 35 years old. I'm about to be 36 in a couple months. You know, it's like, how has this all happened? And like, you know, in my life, I work in the music industry. I travel around with bands. So like life flies by. Like it is constantly moving. I'm always in a different place and going, going, going and going. And like my brother, he's a chef. He was a chef in Boston. Now he during COVID had to move back to Atlanta and like slow down because like you know he was working 110-hour weeks and never seeing his
Wow.
wife and you know they were like ships in the night. And now everyone's just had to be like, all right, let's slow down. Let's breathe through this. Like, yes, has 2020 devastated a lot of people? Absolutely. Has it been just
Mhm.
horrible, 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 horrible? In so many ways, yes.
Mhm.
But if you can look at it and take the positives, like I love that you found all that stuff. Like if I was going to give you any advice coming from my age to your age, it was everything that you were talking about that you've been learning this year. Like literally I couldn't have told you any better of like value that time. Like truly value your time because it starts to
Yeah.
fly. Like life goes quick, man, and it's beautiful. Life is beautiful, and like even when the pace of life comes back, it's you know it's how you utilize it. It's what you do with that time. But like I just think it's so admirable and so rad that you took that time to be like, all right, I'm gonna be me. Because also another thing I would have told you is like all that high school shit, it goes away after high school. Like all
Yeah.
the cool, all the this, all the that, all the like, you know, all of that, it goes away, and then life comes at you. You know, like, and it's
Mhm.
really awesome that you're magnifying your voice, you're finding your voice, you're using your voice, and you're taking that time to learn how to breathe through life and whatever comes at you. Like, yeah, man, like life can be crazy and you can have a lot of horrible circumstances, but it can still be really beautiful. And I love that you're finding that this year.
Yeah. It's like it's like riding the wave. Like sometimes you get big waves, sometimes you get small waves, but as long as you stay on the board,
Yeah,
you know, because
totally.
a lot of people got washed out this year,
Yeah, yeah,
and
totally.
I wasn't going to be one of those people.
Yeah, man. And I imagine if I talk to a lot of other 16-year-olds, there's probably I know there's thousands of different ways everybody went, and I don't know if many would have taken it to a point of I'm going to get good in me. I'm going to be me. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm going to come back stronger mentally, and that's going to propel me farther into my life than ever. And to start a podcast at 16 and have these conversations is that's so rad. I love that. I love that. That like again, giving me hope.
I'm glad I give you hope because
Totally, man.
like like I said, I give me hope sometimes.
That's
Like
beautiful.
just from the fact that like when I talk to people, especially like I said, when like what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to bring people together, have conversations, have people be the best version of themselves every day. And once everyone's would start doing that, obviously I don't think I can ever get anyone to do it. It's a personal choice. But if I can try and I can get people to support, knowing that what I'm doing is helping people, that's hopeful for me.
Totally. I yeah, anytime I get a new listen, I get excited cuz I'm just like that means somebody out there wherever they are, they got to hear a different perspective on life. You know,
100%.
even if it's
Yeah.
one listen, even if it, you know, like that's fine. It's a ripple effect. I believe in that of like I that one person that listens to you and I speak and they're like, "Oh man, listen to this 16-year-old kid. That's
Hmm.
amazing." And then like a ripple goes out, you know, and like that's what you and
Yeah.
I can do with
Yeah.
you what you and I are doing today at this moment. That's what we can do, you know, and like
100%.
it's so rad to see. I mean, there's been moments in my life that have enriched me so much of like I'm over 2 years sober now. And
Congratulations.
thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. And I went out on a tour. It was my first tour back, and I was just figuring life out again. You know, I was literally at like the bottom of where life, where you could even possibly think of being in life. And I went out there and I was just like, all right, I'm going to do this, man. I got to fall in love with life again. I got to figure life out. I got to, like, I don't know what this looks like as a sober person. So here I go. And I just had a had that PMA, the positive mental attitude. And I just went with it. And I just did it. And a friend of mine who we had been on a tour years before and we were crazy together, he was on the tour with another band that was on it. And I just like, we just kind of hung out, didn't like, I just told him about my journey and like was just sharing my life with him. Anyway, flash forward like a year or so later, I finally like typed up my story and I put it online because like I had this weird like I don't want to share it because I don't want people to come up and like high five me for it. I want to touch people. I don't want the like nice work, which I knew would come with it because it is a
Yeah.
big step in life. But I didn't want like, you know, to share it all on
Yeah.
Facebook, you know, but I did. And it was really beautiful because he came to me and he texted me and he was like, dude, because of what I saw in you on that tour, I went on the next tour sober for the first time ever. It motivated
Wow.
me. I'd been wanting to get sober, but I just didn't know how to do it. So I went out on that tour and I did it the first tour ever sober. And at that moment when he was messaging me, he's like, I just hit my 1 year sober. And
Wow.
you gave me that power. And me, all I was doing was figuring my life out. I wasn't standing on a soapbox. I was just like, dude, this is me, man. I'm 3 months out. I almost died. This is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
and then I
Wow.
come to find out that a good friend of mine became, had the strength to go out sober for the first time simply because I was showing him how it was done. And I didn't even know I was showing him that. I was figuring it out on my own. I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just doing this, you know? And so it's that like that little ripple effect of like just be the best person you can be for you and spread that love, spread that humanity, level the playing field. Take that other shit out of there and see, you'd never know how much of an effect you can have on somebody.
Yeah. 100%. Like I got a story like that. It's not as extreme because that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
That's awesome. But one of my friends, so I started posting videos and I knew that like the quality was horrible. It was so bad. Like I would have I look back at it and I laugh at it now because it's so bad. And that
Of
was
course.
5, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But I remember I posted like some of my first videos, and the next thing you know, I look in my friends group chat, and they're just a bunch of dudes. We just roast each other and like make
Sure.
fun of each other. Like yeah. And next thing you know, my videos in the group chat, and they're just ripping it apart. And like it brought me down. And I was like, why are they doing that? Like I'm trying to do
Sure.
something good here. But then I was thinking about it. I'm like, if if I wasn't the one making the video and one of my friends posted that in the group chat, I would probably roast it.
Sure.
Like I had to get that through my head that they don't understand it yet, they will.
Yeah.
And even though I kept posting every day, new post, new post, new post, new post. Now I'm up to like 3, 5 times a day I post, and it's not in the group chat anymore. They are supportive of me now
Awesome.
because I took that crap for a while, and it literally means nothing.
Right.
If I would have just stopped then and there because I felt bad, that wouldn't have done the world any good.
Of course. And I mean, that is a perfect example. I mean, you think of anybody that you respect in your life that has made a difference or made a change. If they had stopped because somebody was picking on them, we wouldn't have any
Yeah,
revolutionaries. Like we'd never like nobody would make a change because they'd be like, ugh, that person made fun of me, like I mean,
yeah.
you can see my hat.
Peace signs up.
That's I posted on all of my stuff because I truly believe in it. And like I was on a Zoom call Friday night for a friend's birthday, and I don't talk to these guys very often, but yeah, they were like, "Yeah, man, peace signs up," and I was like, I don't know if you're just, you know,
Messing with me,
messing
but
with
I'll
me, but
take
like,
it.
whatever, dude. Like, I know what my mission is with it, and I know like that I believe in it. So it's like I'm not gonna not post that because a few of my guy friends are like picking on me about it. You know, I was like, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Like, if that's yeah, I always find that there's something behind it. You know, it's either they admire it and so they don't know how to voice that.
react and
Yeah,
yeah,
they don't know how to say like, "Hey man, that's actually pretty cool." You know, so they come at you with, and I think especially and you'll find this, I'm sure you found it already, men have trouble expressing that or
yeah,
giving other praises to their guy friends. You know, it's the tough love, like the macho man whatever stigma that
yeah.
comes with dude world. And it's like
Hmm.
you can get
Why?
past
Like
why? Who cares, dude? Like whatever, man. Like it doesn't make you any
exactly.
less manly. And like what is even like manly? You know? It's like
Yeah,
who cares, man? You know what? You know what's really beautiful is like sharing your emotions and trying to change the world, and like then jumping on there and saying like, "That's awesome, dude. Thanks for doing that. Like, you made me think about this differently, or whatever." You know, it's like it's easier to do that than just do the
yeah,
like whatever.
yeah. Because that only lasts for so long, and then when the real stuff happens, it's not gonna deter me from doing that in real life. And since I kept going with that, I've gotten DMs, I've got messages from friends, and they're like, "I'm inspired by what you do, and it's inspired me to do whatever." I'm like, if I inspired someone else to, whether it be go for a walk, make their own videos, do something like it's a start. It's
Totally,
something. Like
that's
but if I,
big.
like I said, if I would have stopped because my friends are like, haha, look at this nerd, look at this loser making videos, guess what?
Nobody gets
I
to
wouldn't have, yeah, I would never inspired anybody.
yeah. And I mean, I've come to absolutely love the term nerd. I call all my dearest friends nerds. It's a term of endearment for me. So anybody calling you a nerd, I take that as a high compliment if someone calls me a nerd. I know it means
Yeah,
different. It meant different to me in high school, but man, yeah, I really love that, dude. I love that you're just like I'm me, man. I'm going for it. And you can say what you
yeah,
like. You can get on board and spread the love around or whatever. But I'm
hmm,
gonna keep doing it because that's me,
yeah,
and that's super
and
important in life, man. That's such a good lesson to learn at your age.
yeah, and the one thing I learned from spreading positivity is good things will come from it. And I'll give you a prime example.
Yeah,
So in my life, there was this page called "Are You Happy?" Have you heard of them?
I haven't. I saw it on your Instagram. I saw you were wearing a
Yeah.
shirt.
So they're a company where they go around and they ask people, they interview everyone, like strangers, "Are you happy?"
Hmm.
And I DM'd them and I said, I just like the show. I just want to send them some support, say how much I like it. And then I got a DM. They said, "Thank you very much," and all that. And then they checked out my page and then they liked what I was doing. So they said, "Hey, you wanna come like edit for us? You wanna do that?"
No
I'm
way.
yeah, you guys got. They're like, "Yeah, you can film and edit videos. We'll post it on your page. We'll tag you. Win-win."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah. That's amazing.
And that was like 3 months ago, and right now I'm still with them, and I'm becoming a core member of their team and all that. And it's just like such a great company with trying a documentary about finding the happiest person in the world and asking everyone, "Are you happy?" It just fits
Wow.
in with what I'm trying to do.
Totally. And what a
And
complicated question.
it's simple, but so complicated to answer.
It is one of the simplest but most complicated, convoluted questions there are
Yeah.
out there.
And I've done it where I've interviewed, whether it be friends or strangers, and it's just such a interesting thing to do. Asking other people, "Are you happy?" Because it opens them right up.
Totally.
And everyone's got something interesting to say. So you ask them, "Are you happy?" And then the second question is, if you had one message for the entire world, what would it be?
That's
And
that's one of the questions I ask everybody.
yeah,
Not the Are You Happy? I think that one's fantastic. I'm very sad I just let that one go over, but it's so simple. So
It
it's like
is.
one of those that's like you may not think about it. But it's the simplest question you can ask your friends. It's something you can go like what a and like when you actually care to ask that question and listen to what people say, that's a beautiful thing. Even just that one
Yeah.
question. Like in
Hmm.
this time especially like with mental health, and I'm sure a lot of your friends are dealing with that as well, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, just I always stress it. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your loved ones, be there for them in this time because none of us from your age to my age to older to younger, nobody's ever had this before. So, like, that's a very important question. If you would just ask your friends one question, I think that's a really beautiful one.
Yeah. And people love the show. I mean, they got what is it, 1.3 million followers now. Like
Wow.
they I'm so happy I'm part of this page, and I get to work with them, and they're just all those guys on that team, they're just so amazing. And just like the idea of it, and we're all coming together just to make the best content about this one question for the world to see. It's so amazing, and yeah, it's awesome.
That is so cool. I'm definitely going to check it out because I saw, yeah, I was actually like, I saw it on your page and now I'm super glad to know about what exactly that is.
Yeah.
How
What
cool.
what what is Are You Happy? Now
Yeah.
you know.
What is Are You Happy?
But like that, being a part of that, I've learned so much like environmental exposure from going to Zoom meetings with the team and learning how to edit from like for real.
Yeah.
And get so like I make my own videos, I make videos for them, and then I like the podcast, and just all that I've learned so much from just creating content, spreading the right messages, how to present the messages. And obviously if once COVID slows down or I'm allowed to go and be in front of crowds or something, that's the goal.
Dude, man, that's so rad. That makes me happy hearing about that. That's so cool. And what an amazing experience for you to be a part of that. That's especially at
Yeah.
your age, you know, like at any age that's really cool, but to be able I'm imagining that like yes, for you it's so exciting to like have that position and like start moving up and learning all these things, but I'm imagining what you're finding is the most enriching to you is the answers and the people and all the stories you're hearing. I imagine that is far better than even being a part of it. That's probably the best part if I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I'm always talking about positivity, happiness, do all this stuff, and then I get to go out and be like do that. I get to ask people these questions, and you meet so many amazing people. And like you just someone walking down the street, hey, are you happy? Or I'm filming a happiness documentary. You mind if I ask you a question? People love to talk about it, and
Totally.
it's such an amazing thing. Yeah, the answers are very inspiring, and
Yeah. Well, even just and it always happens. Like I think of it with any homeless person you walk by. You know,
yeah.
9.9 out of 10 of us ignore them. I'm guilty of it
Hmm.
at times. I hate that I am, but I am. Anytime you wave at that person, you look them in the eye. That is so much bigger of a gift than you could ever know. To ask them a question, to see what they're up to. Ask a person on the street, "Are you happy?" Or just say hello. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the impact of just being seen and being able to be heard, to be humanized again. That is such a gift that you never know what that impact can be.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, we interview everybody, and the whole team's located. We're in different countries, we're in different states, and so we get to interview people from across the world
I love that.
and all different cultures and skin colors and
That's so important.
everything, and everyone is different, and everyone's got something interesting to say.
Yeah, and no matter where you come from or what your life looks like, or what happiness even looks like to you at the core of that question, even if it's a vastly different interpretation of what happy is. I imagine the majority of people in this world are just are looking to be at least happy. I don't think anyone's looking to be depressed or looking to be angry all the time. I think everyone's trying to find their little sliver of happiness, whatever that might be, no matter where.
Yeah.
So to level that playing field, and honestly, like my partner and I, that's kind of where this whole idea for this podcast started too, was like we travel a lot, and I mean, I love meeting people all over the world. That's more than like actually traveling. Like it's one of my favorite, it's probably my favorite thing to do in the world. But like meeting the people that you meet in those places and hearing about their life and asking them questions that are just level playing field. Like I do this as a blog series as well, where I just send an email to people and let them answer the questions, and I post it. I don't edit it. I just say, this is them, you know? And I just want people to be able to read about people all over the world and these simple answers that are very, very like not easy questions. They're just like, tell me a story of life. Tell me a story of crazy life. You know, this, that, and that, and that.
Yeah.
Just to get that out there of like, hey man, like your life and like your circumstances and where you're at and where you're from are vastly different. And that is obviously true. But the core of your answers probably are going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know?
You get a lot of like people are just, family, friends, being healthy.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. Like you can have all the materialistic things in your life, but it's not going to make you happy.
No.
What really matters is, is your mom and dad okay? Is your dog safe and
Right.
all that? Like just the little things. It all comes down to other people.
Yeah.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of the people around you? Are you surrounded by the people you love?
Yeah.
Happiness.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll tell you, when I was with the event that made me have to get sober, I was beginning stages of liver failure. And I was literally told, we don't know if you will see tomorrow.
Wow.
So I will tell you what I wasn't thinking about that night. And it wasn't money. It wasn't the cars that I had owned. It wasn't any material item. It didn't matter. What would it matter?
Yeah.
What would it matter at that point? What I was thinking about is how sad my parents were going to be, how sad my friends were going to be. And not in like, oh, I'm so cool, but I mean, anytime anyone deals with death, it's very sad. Yeah. And I was going to be that sadness. That was what I was thinking. The impact that was going to have on them. I didn't like, it didn't matter if I was worth $2 trillion or 5 at that point. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered at that point except the impact that I left on people, what I had done to better people in my life. And I realized a lot of this came out of that, where it was like, I need to do better at that. I need to be there for people. I want to share my story because somehow I made it through that. So there's a reason for me to be here. So my mission is to spread that around, and like just to share that. Thank you, brother. And also, I don't know if you know this word, but it's a really cool word, and I think you'll really, really appreciate this. It's a word, sonder. Have you ever heard this?
I've heard the word. I'd forget the definition.
Okay. So generalizing, but it's like I'm looking out my front room window, like the person that's walking their dog out there, or the person that's driving the car that goes by, or I'm walking anywhere in the world. The person that's in the background of my life, I'm looking at you in my phone right now. You have just as complex of life as I do. So does that person. So does that person. Every single person, no matter how small of a blip in the film of your life, no matter what, if you see them for 0.3 seconds and they're gone, never to be seen again, that person has a very in-depth life, just as in-depth as mine. They have family. They have goals. They have dreams. They have love. They have sorrow. They have all everything that I have, they have in a different way because they're a different human. But when you put it down to that, it's pretty beautiful to think that person's making it through life same as I am. Different circumstances because they're a different person, but like that person is just as complex as me. Just has every, every depth of their life as I do. And when you look
Yeah.
at people like that, it's a really cool way to think about life. And I think you
Yeah.
do think that, but I loved when I actually there was a word for it.
Yeah.
My
I
friends
heard
told
the
me about
word.
it, and I went,
Yeah.
"Awesome."
Yeah. I remember they gave me when I asked about what that word was because I always forget the definition. But yeah, that makes sense. I remember that. That's so deep, so profound, and just a fascinating idea.
Yeah, and it's so but it's so deep and profound, yet it's very simple way to look at it. Of like,
Yeah.
oh, that person, I'll never know that person's name. That's fine. That doesn't mean that there's any less depth to their life than mine. Just because I'll never know them doesn't mean anything. It's also when you start traveling and you see all these other places that exist, and it's so different from where I exist or where you exist or where anybody else exists except for that person in that place. It doesn't mean it stops right now because I'm not there. Like it's life's still happening in Mumbai. It's still happening in
Yeah.
Tokyo. It's still happening in the Arctic Circle. Like it's all happening everywhere in the world. It's still happening. Their lives are still happening. And so to think about it,
Yeah.
it is a very big thought, but it's also very like, yeah, take care of those people. Be there for those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Everyone's got a life.
All right, dude.
Everyone's got.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Go. You you
um
got it.
I love asking this question too, and so if I obviously not in COVID times without travel restrictions and everything, if I came up to you and I handed you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ireland.
I like that. I was on rapid fire.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a long time. I want to go to Ireland.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have like a cultural. Actually, I do. It's very. It's on an island. It's
Yep.
far away. It's a new culture. The architecture is amazing, and I love the accents.
Yes.
And I just wanted like for me. I mean, it could basically be any place that's super foreign to me. Like,
Sure.
because I all I've known is where I am.
Yeah.
I haven't traveled much. And so I want to get like I feel like Ireland is just one of those places. It's just so out there. I just want to go.
Yeah. It is. It's really it's a cool place. It's I've only been to Dublin and it was incredible. So I highly
Yeah.
recommend that. So
Yes. I'm even
where
more excited.
yeah. And I mean, I know friends that live there that have been there and have seen a lot more than I have, and the reviews don't get any worse. They all only get better from everywhere I've heard. Um, so where in Illinois? Like what region of Illinois are you in?
Lake County. So it's like I don't know. There's not a lot over here. This is kind of like a. It's not. It's near Chicago.
Okay,
Like it's like an hour away from. It's like in a weird spot where I'm close to Milwaukee and I'm also close to Chicago. So
got you.
like
Okay,
an hour commute either way. So
got you. All right, gotcha. I like both of those cities. I've been to them many times.
yeah, I've been to Milwaukee more than Chicago, even though I do live in Illinois. So
Yeah. All right. So that brings me to the last two questions I love to ask everybody, and especially you. And we've just had this fantastic conversation. What would you want the world to know about you?
I want the world to know about me. Man, I'm used to answering the message to the world, not the about me. I don't
Yeah.
know what I want people to know that I'm gonna listen to them no matter who they are or what they have to say because I think that you can learn from everyone and I'd love to hear everyone's stories and I'd love to pick everyone's brain about something because like I said you can learn something from everybody.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, I've said it many times through this, but like this has been super awesome. I didn't know what to
Yeah.
expect. Of course, like that's what happens when you don't know somebody and you end up talking to them for an hour. But this has truly been super awesome and super inspiring for me. Like I truly believe that when you're saying that, I'm not just thinking you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna say this to say this. Like I truly believe that, and I think that's incredible at your age to have found that love for people and just wanting to spread that around and show people that, and to to have that in your generation I think is so important because it's I see it with people in my generation and it's really sad to see that people aren't living by that people are
Mhm.
judging people and putting all this politicized like politicizing every part of humanity. Like if you do this, you're this way, or you're if you do this, you're the other way. It's like we need to strip all that back, strip all that away, truly listen to people, because that's like how else are you gonna learn? Like I'm
Yeah.
learning from you. I
Mhm.
hope you're learning a thing or two from me. Like
Yes, of course.
and like that's the beauty of it, and that's the cool thing too is like conversation can bridge a 19-year age gap. You know,
Yeah. I didn't even do the math on that, but yeah,
that's a
that's a
significant
while.
time, man. And like for me to learn, to sit here and go, I've learned so much from you to put back into my life. That's really amazing. And I don't think a lot of people my age think that way, that they could find that conversation with someone, you know, 19 years younger. But
Yeah.
it's really incredible to see the depth of humanity no matter where you are, who you are, when you open yourself to that, to give that to people and give that to yourself. Like it's truly inspiring me. So I truly
Yeah.
appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. And I'll bring it back around from what you said at the very beginning. You talked about stigmas and how like people judge each other by that stuff. And the biggest thing for me is my age. You know,
Dude, of course.
people don't they won't ever say it to me, but a lot of people don't think I can do certain things because of my age. Everyone says you have to wait till you're an adult. You have to wait. Why?
Why?
I could do it now.
Yeah.
And if I'm learning, if I started then, that's like 4 or 5 years that of like stuff that I could be learning. But no, I gotta wait 5 years because I gotta go through college. Gotta do that. Why don't I start now?
Right.
That's that's the big thing. And a lot of people don't think they can learn something from a 16-year-old because they're older. And
Right.
I'm trying to just but every time they talk to me or people who take the time, they understand.
Yeah. I mean, I I mean, I definitely understand that. I can see that happening to you, and that makes me
Yeah.
sad. I definitely like I when you were saying that, I was like, oh, dude, I totally get that. But like you said, why wait? Like what is like me waiting till I'm 19 or 20 to have like why not start now and then keep learning as I go and getting older and adding experiences? Like why not? Like get the depth now and then like as the world starts piling up and like other all the other parts of life that are tough, the struggles, everything that will happen. Add that to the
Yeah.
strength that you're finding in yourself right now. Like, I would never tell you to wait. I would say you
Yeah.
are like, yeah, seize it, man. Take it. It's your life.
Yeah.
Why, why wait? Like another thing that you have said is the most valuable thing that you've been given this year is your time.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable part of your life because once your time is done, it doesn't come back.
Yeah. That's it.
For someone that sat on their deathbed thinking about this a lot, that is so powerful, dude. To just be like, I don't care if I'm 16, I don't care if I'm 14, I don't care if I'm 70. Take your power, stand for it, believe what you believe, and go for what you want to do. And I think that is incredible. I think that's such a powerful message because people my age are still needing to hear that. I see people in my life that are just doing life, not really exerting themselves. And I'm like, dude, now's the time. Yesterday was the time. A year ago was. It's always the time. Do it. Go for it. So I think that's such a powerful message to hear from someone in the younger generation. Like that is so inspiring of like, take take the time, take your power, take your voice, make your voice stronger. Because in 2 years, when you're able to start voting, like,
Yeah.
that's incredible. That's a big voice that I know you'll be using that for what you believe in, and I know
Exactly.
it won't just be another 18-year-old that's like, well, I'm going to vote this way because this person. You're going to be like, I know what I want. It's like,
Yeah.
you're going to have these thoughts in your mind. Like, the last thing we need is more people just in life, and not even on the political realm. The last thing we need in life is just people not being themselves.
Following the herd.
Yeah, find your power, man. Like, use your voice. Stand by yourself. Even, because when you're putting all that out, you're not going to be standing by yourself. But if you have to take that step by yourself, that's a beautiful, empowered position that you've put yourself in life already.
Yeah.
And that's so rad. So good.
Thank you.
All right. So now the question that you ask and that you're used to answering is, if you had the ear of everybody in the world, what would you say to them?
Wow. I feel like it's kind of the same as what I said before, but no matter who you are, what you do, what you look like, what you sound like, whatever, do what you want to do that will make you happy, and don't let other people's judgment deter you from doing that, and be the best version of yourself every single day.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Man, I love this. This has been so rad. This has been so cool, dude. Dude. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday. It's Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
To hang out, dude. I mean, seriously, I've said it a bunch of times, but I'm super inspired.
No, man.
And this is why
you've inspired me too. I've learned a lot from you just from this conversation.
Well,
because I've been talking to like teenagers a lot recently.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to talk to someone like you.
Hey, man, anytime. Like, you have my number now. Reach out anytime. I'm around.
Yeah.
I love being there for people. I love, trying to inspire people and spreading that ripple around. So anything you need, man.
Sounds good. All right, this was fun.
Yeah, of course.
I saw the title of your podcast and I'm like, that just sounds like something I want to be a part of.
Totally. And thank you for reaching out. It's like, and I really love how I figured it out too, because usually like right before I get on with somebody, especially if I don't know them, I'll like start researching into, like your podcast. And then I heard 16 and I was like, this just got so much more interesting because like you said, you talk to a lot of people in your age group. Like me, I'm talking to, probably, a lot more in my age group, but like that threw me for a loop of like, this is going to be really cool this morning. So this has been super awesome, dude.
Yes, it has been. This is fun. I like this stuff.
I mean, I'm hopeful for your board of education that they'll start listening and that,
Yeah.
But I just want to say, man, keep using your voice, dude. It's awesome. I've enjoyed your podcast. I love listening to it. And I love that you're on this Are You Happy train, and I'm going to jump on board and check it out. And man,
please do.
Keep spreading the love and positivity, dude. And seriously,
you too.
And anything you need, man, I'd like text me, call me, whatever. I'm around.
I will. Trust me. If I need to pick your brain about something,
please,
I will, because I do that with everybody. I'll just text and be like, "Hey, what do you think of this?"
Yeah. I would love that. That'd be super awesome.
All right,
dude. Take it easy, brother.
All right, yeah. Peace signs up.
Peace signs up. See you.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Beautifully Human podcast. To hear more beautiful stories from beautiful humans, follow us on Spotify and rate and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Wanderlust Moon Duo. Peace signs up.